Hello guys, and welcome to the first episode of Ryan's Cooking. In today's episode, we are going to be making some Nigerian cuisine. Let's make 4 dishes together. The first dish we're going to make is Egusi Soup. Here are our materials and ingredients that we need. Here I have some ginger, some garlic and onion which have already been cleaned and peeled, and I'm using a variety of tomato bases. The first one I have a tomato sauce and tomato diced in 2 big cans, and then a small can of tomato paste. So this Egusi soup will be very tomato based heavy. Let's get into it. The first thing we need to do is dice our onions.
In other words, baby, kiss me. Feel my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship.
Hey guys, I'm done with chopping up all of my onions. It was a very tearful experience. Here's all the 4 onions chopped up on these 2 plates. The next thing I need to do is to cut up all my ginger and to cut up the garlic and pound it on this Nigerian pounder and this aluminum base that I have right here. Let's go back to the time lapse. Alright, now that we're done cutting up all our ginger and garlic, I decided to pound it all on the Nigerian pounder and the aluminum base. And here is the pounded version. The next thing I have to do is to clean and to marinate the chicken. Here's the chicken. First I need to take the skin off it. It should look like that afterwards. And then I need to marinate it and deep fry it. Hey guys, now that we're done cleaning the chicken, here's what it looks like. And now that it's been cleaned, I've also added some slits to it so that once we marinate it, which we are going to do now, all the spices can get into it nicely. Speaking of the spices, here's the 3 main things we will be using to marinate our chicken. First of all, here's some red chili powder, then some turmeric. We'll only be using half a spoon of turmeric, and then some salt. For the salt, maybe 2 spoons, and for the red chili powder, maybe 2 spoons as well. But for the turmeric, only around half a spoon. We'll put all that in now, and then we'll start mixing to marinate our chicken. Cool, back to the time lapse.
I love you.
Hello guys, now we're done marinating the chicken and we're ready to deep fry it. Let's wait for this to warm up first, then we'll have to add our oil and all our tomato bases here. Here we have the diced tomatoes, the tomato sauce, and the tomato paste. For the tomato paste, I opened it, but we're not going to use all of it, maybe only 2 to 3 tablespoons. Cool. As you can see, I am outside now. Time to fry or marinate the chicken. Hey guys, we finished cooking and frying our chicken. Here's the final result. Next thing I have to do is to take some water and mix it into our tomato and onion base that we have made with some ginger and garlic. And then it should form this kind of soup sauce consistency. And this will be the base for our soup once we blend it all up. And then I'll have to skin the chicken and add this into the soup. And I'll show you the final product at the end. See you then. Hello guys, now that we're done peeling away our chicken, here is the paste that we're done blending, the tomato and onion paste. And here is the egusi seeds which we will be blending and adding later. Next thing we have to do is add some mint just for taste. Alright guys, now that the soup has been all nice and blended with and mixed with the egusi seeds, remember the mint from earlier? Let's add that now. This is just for the flavor. Alright, I've taken a quick portion out for my friends that are vegetarian. Your soup is done and this is what you'll be eating tomorrow. Here, for our meat lovers, we're going to be adding some cubed chicken, so let's chop that up now. Now that I have the chicken all diced up, let's add this to our soup for the meat lovers. Now we're going to start making our jollof rice. This is the second out of the 5 things that we're going to make for our Nigerian cuisine. How we're going to make this is, we're going to take some olive oil. I've already put some olive oil in here. Then I've already chopped up some onions. You see me do that earlier. And I'm going to put a generous amount of paste after I put my onions in. And after all that is done, I'm going to add the same spices for our egusi soup. And then finally our basmati rice. This is the rice type of rice we'll be using. It's called basmati and it works really well accordingly for jollof rice. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Time to add all the spices. What we're adding is a spoon of chili powder, half a spoon of turmeric, 1 spoon of salt, and 1 spoon of the spice mix. Alright, let's add it all. And now the spice mix. I have the flame on low heat so that all the spices don't burn. Alright, we're good to go. Now this is my favorite part. The smelling itself of all the different spices is great and this aroma is amazing. But my favorite part is to add the basmati rice in. This step is very important as when you add it in, you'll need to be very careful that you make sure that every tiny bit of each part of the rice is infused nicely with all your spice mixture. And make sure that you mix the rice so well that every single part looks uniform and like a homogeneous mixture. This part is very important. Once we mix it nicely, you have to see that you need to do a really good job here and make sure it looks even and uniform. I'll show you now what it looks like when you have it mixed really nicely. Okay guys, now after a few minutes of mixing, here's what the end result looks like. As you can see, almost all the rice looks individual and not mushy together, but it also has all the same color. Alright, here I have a mix of blended tomato and bell peppers and paprika and a little bit of jalapeno inside the solution. And now we're going to pour this into our rice already and we'll let it simmer just for a few moments. Let's mix it out nice and evenly so that all the rice gets all this liquid. Alright guys, here's what the solution looks like now. I've added 2 jugs of this cup right here. This has 2 cups of water inside of it, so it's 4 cups of hot water total. And that's what you see here right now. Now all we have to do is cover this with an airtight container and let it simmer for 20 minutes. I'm going to set the timer now. See you then. As you can hear, the timer is over for 20 minutes. Let's check on our rice. Okay, let me take the lid off and get a spatula. As you can see, it is a nice thick consistency. A bit hard to stir, but that is expected because all the liquids have already simmered into the rice, so it should be a bit thicker now. Now before we do anything else and serve our food, we'll have to let the rice sit and simmer and soak in all that goodness for 12 more minutes before doing anything. This time we're going to move it off the heat. See you in 12 minutes. Alright guys, the 12 minutes for resting period is up. Now all I'm just doing is using the fork and fluffing this rice up. What that means is you're going to occasionally stir it a bit, but what you want to do is bring the bottom rice to the top so it breathes and sees all the air again. That fluffs up the rice so it's nice and soft to eat whenever you're going to serve this. Great, now this next meal is done. Meal 2 out of 5 of all Nigerian cuisine is done. Thank you so much. Hello everybody, today we're making some Nigerian puff puff balls. It's a delicacy similar to donuts and it's fried, except it's a slightly different type of batter. Now let's explain our ingredients. So here I have 4 cups of sieved flour. Here I have my oil, but we're only using this for the frying, so I'll keep this aside for now. Here I have 2 cups of brown sugar and 2 cups of jaggery powder, which is for the sweeter. Here I have some one whole mashed up banana, which was mashed up with a fork and stirred nicely. And here I have my rising agent, which is my 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Now I'm gonna mix all this together and add it to my warm water. This is not very warm, it's just lukewarm water. I'll start with the banana. Then the jaggery powder. You can see the jaggery is a bit dark brown, but the brown sugar is light brown. And I'll add my tiny bit of water and start mixing from now. Now our batter is well mixed, and we're going to cover it and put it in a warm environment for 30 minutes for the batter to rise, and then we'll start frying it. Hello everyone, now that our batter is fully risen and it's been 30 minutes, while the pan is heating up, I have this oil ready from the canola oil bottle, and I'm going to pour it in each of the holes. These holes are specially designed to fill these puff puff balls and to have them nice and in a shape while we're eating them. So it not only looks good, but it also is in a shape and it'll cook more consistently on all round sides. Now let's pour about this much consistency into each of the molds. Okay, first one is done. Second one is done. Hello guys, number 3 out of 5 is done, puff puff balls. Here's what it looks like on the inside. It's really hot now, so let's try some quickly. So good. Hey guys, let's start our 4th out of 5th ingredient, which is fried plantain. Here's what plantain looks like, very similar to a banana. What we're going to do is we're going to dice it out in special shapes like this and then fry them. So first let's cut a slit here, and so it's a bit easier to peel. This has a very thick skin, so it's hard to peel with your own hands, so just need a quick opening first. Okay, finally got this out of the peel. Now let's cut it in a fancy way. We cut it in this manner to maximize the surface area of each chip. This allows for it to be a bit easier to fry as well. Cool, we're done. Alright, I've just coated this pan in butter, not in oil, just for taste. And now let us line up these plantain chips one by one and start frying them. Hello guys, this is number 4 out of 5 done fried plantain chips. Now I'll show you what everything looks like together except for the puff balls. As you can see, as our rice, we have the Jollof Rice. Then on top of that we have the Egusi Soup as the gravy, and then we have the fried plantain on the side. This is what the main meal should look like as a full presentation. Hey guys, we're going to make our final meal for our Nigerian cuisine, the 5th one, which is the pounded yam. For this recipe, I'm using this Ion Instant Authentic Powdered Yam flour. So this is the instant flour, and here's what it looks like. I've put 5 cups in this tray, and then on over here I've put 5 cups of boiling hot water, and according to the directions, all we do is to put these 5 cups of yam inside this 5 cups of water and let it boil. So that's what I'm going to do now. Cool, now we just have to mix this all up. Hello guys, now that we have our final product of Fufu, I'll show you the consistency now. Let me get a spatula. As you can see that it is a bit sticky. It's sticking to each other, but it's not sticking to the spatula. And that's kind of the texture we need for this pounded yam. Now what we will do is, we're going to take 1 serving of this pounded yam. There's 35 students in the class which I'm feeding, so I'll need to take 35 servings of pounded yam, and then some saran wrap, or this food stretch wrap. And what you do is, you take enough yam serving, I'm just eyeballing here, maybe this much is fine, and you put it in this wrap. And what you do is, you have to cover this wrap so that it's almost airtight seal around the yam, and that way that it stays fresh and has the same texture once you are going to serve it. So if you're not serving it now, you will wrap it up like this, and you should see some sort of like almost perfect texture on the other side, which means you did it right if you see this. If it's all wrinkly, if it's wrinkly here, that's okay because you already folded it, but it's wrinkly here, then you may have done something wrong. But this glossy texture is exactly what you see in all the YouTube video thumbnails, and this is what it should look like as a final product. All you have to do now is just unwrap this and eat this with the rest of your food. I use this as a side dish, but several other people may differ and use this as a main dish. I will be serving this with my Jollof Rice and my Egusi Soup. Thank you so much. All the Nigerian cuisine is done. See you then.